a death in the immediate family, a job being lost, a single parent home. All common reasons that finances become unstable, making education harder to obtain for the everyday student. The free application for the federal student aid, known as FAFSA, is described as a complex barrier to college access and success by the Institute for College Access and Success in Going to the Source, a practical way to simplify the FAFSA published March 2017. Having the correct amount of aid is a necessity for some students to be able to afford an education. However, the current system, FAFSA, is broken. As college students, we pay a lot of money to attend our institutions, and most of the time, it's not likely that we can afford to do this out of pocket due to rising tuition, fees, and dwindling financial resources. It's important that we secure ourselves and build a foundation for a more pro-student system. The fact that most of us are only able to proceed to higher education through scholarships, grants, and unfortunately loans is a travesty. I would like to push for reconstruction of FAFSA, the criteria, and the application process, as I discuss its flaws, why it has become so flawed, and how we can combat this. As a current college student, I am tasked year after year to complete the FAFSA application, locate my mother's previous tax information, navigate through it, and fill out the application. That decides whether or not I'm able to afford an education. As a first-generation college student, I do this on my own because my family does not know how. Let me discuss the inaccuracy and complexity of the FAFSA process. The first flaw I'd like to point out is how aid is calculated. FAFSA awards letters are calculated by your EFC, or your expected family contribution. The number is calculated by three major financial categories. The three categories are net pay, additional income, and asset information, all of three of which are required from 2 years prior, which is really hard to get nowadays. This information was provided by Adam Stahl and James B. Stedman in the Federal Student Aid Need Analysis, Background and Selected Simplification Issues, last updated October 4th, 2004. Now I'll discuss the issue of tax documents that the students will need to have. The student is required to turn in previous tax record of their parents. This can be an issue for some who may have disconnection from their families, for students whose parents do not keep up with such documents, and for some students' parents who don't care. Student.ed.gov last access June 25th, 2019 reported that over 90,000 students in Illinois applied as independents, which complicates the process even further for them. Living in a society that is so numerical is something that I believe most of us have become accustomed to. Student ID numbers, GPA, and standardized test scores are all examples of how we're seen on paper, which is what most people see. Let's touch base on who actually makes the FAFSA. I can admit that I and almost every college student I know apply for FAFSA, and I'm sure the same goes for all of you. FAFSA receives a lot of applications, and that's an understatement. In Illinois alone, FAFSA received over 300,000 applications in 2017, making us the fourth highest state to do so, after California, Texas, and Florida. However, this is a fraction, just a small fraction, of the actual amount that they received from the US. In 2014, they received over 4 million applications, stated studentaid.ed.gov, at last access June 25th, 2019. Because of the amount of applications, it would be almost impossible to evaluate each person in a timely manner, and as we all know, we already get our FAFSAs pretty late, so that could be a bigger issue. Leadership and experience are what is needed to do anything successfully, and running the education system is no different. The current Secretary of Education, Betsy DeVoe, is stated to have called for deep cuts of financial grants for funding for education for guns instead, stated by the National Education Association, and is said to have never been a teacher, a school administrator, or had experience with any type of public